this is the second of your strength workouts. For this session you need a strap and some light hand weights or tins of beans, packs of rice, anything that you've got that just gives a little bit of weight. If you don't feel ready to add the weight yet, you don't have to add the weight, but just know that it is there for you later on. You can do the exercises without any weight at all. We're just going to start by mobilising the shoulders. So make sure that you're standing in good alignment, feet are hip width apart, weight back through your heels, pelvis in that neutral position, ribs relaxed and down, and then nice and wide through your chest and shoulders, arms down by your sides, looking into the distance and thinking about growing tall through the top of your head. Just take a moment to ground yourself and take some really deep breaths here. So get as much air in as possible as you inhale, and then a long slow exhale, getting rid of all of that stale air and letting go of anywhere that you're holding tension. Do that a couple more times. I'm going to start with some shoulder rolls. So just start to roll your shoulders. Get as much movement there as possible. Notice if it's your elbows doing the work rather than your shoulders. Try and let your arms just hang really relaxed down by your side. And then reverse that and let's go the other way. We're going to really exaggerate that now. So we're going to pull the shoulders as far forwards as we can, lift them up as high as you can, pull them back as far as you can, and then pull them down as far as you can. Let's really over-exaggerate those shoulder rolls now, getting as much movement there as you possibly can. Try and get everything moving. Let's reverse that and go the other way. All right, and then let it go. Okay, we're going to bring our elbows in by our side, palms are facing up towards the ceiling. So all we're going to do now is open the hands out to the side, keeping your elbows in, and then come back into centre. You don't have to dig your elbows in, but just have them into your side so they're not kind of wandering out, yeah? And open out and in. So we're just going to do a few of these here, and then you're going to notice whether you can feel your shoulder blades moving on your back. So as you open your arms out wide, your shoulder blades are going to come together on your back. And as you bring your hands in, the shoulder blades are going to go wide. So just do that a few times, bringing your awareness to the movement in your back of those shoulder blades. And then as you bring your hands close together at the front, your shoulder blades are wide. Now let's see if we can anchor those shoulder blades. So recognize that the shoulder blades are wide. Think about where they are. Maybe do that connection where you draw your armpits down towards your waist to kind of connect and stabilize those shoulder blades, and then try and keep them still as you open your arms out. Lay down. And then try and keep them still as you open your arms out. So you might not go as far, it might limit your range a little bit, and that's absolutely fine. We're just trying to keep the shoulder blades still and see what mobility and what movement we have now through the arms. Okay, still keeping those shoulder blades still. Open your arms out to the side and then start to take your elbows a little bit further away from you and then draw them back in. And do that again, just reaching the elbows away and then drawing them back in, trying to keep those shoulder blades anchored. Now that's kind of the first part of the exercise, the unweighted part of your exercise, and then let it go. So you can add a little bit of weight to that. So really this is working on mobility and stability, and then if we want to add some weight, then we're also going to be working on strength as well. So only add the weight when you feel that you're ready to move on, because all of this is really, really beneficial. I'm going to use tins of beans because, you know, everybody has beans hanging around, or rice or something in their cupboards. So we're going to go right back to the start again. We're going to go back to our dumb waiter where we're just opening out again. And again, let your shoulder blades move to begin with. Just kind of get that movement, tuning in to the movement of your body. So recognizing where your body parts are in space and time, really, really important. And then as you bring your hands closer together and those shoulder blades go wide, take a moment again to stabilize those shoulders. Can you keep those shoulders stable as you open out? So it's going to be more difficult now if you've added some weight. If you haven't added any weight yet, stay with just the movement using your own body as resistance. And then if you can't keep your shoulder blades still, and this is where you're going to stay, you're just going to keep playing with that, trying to anchor and stabilize those shoulder blades. Once you've got that and you're happy and the shoulders are stable and they're not moving, then you're going to again keep those shoulders anchored, shoulder blades anchored, as you start to reach the arms away. And then draw them back in. And you don't want to go wild, you don't want to do like 50 repetitions of this, but just doing a few, keeping those shoulders anchored, shoulder blades anchored, as you reach away. And obviously, like I say, adding the weight is going to help to increase the strength that you have there. Let's just do a couple more here. And then as you bring your hands back in this time, you can get rid of your weights. We're going to use them again a little bit later, so have them nearby. Let's just go back to our little shoulder rolls again, letting your arms just hang as you circle your shoulders around, and then reverse and go the other way. Let's just gently turn our head side to side, just making sure that we haven't created any tension through the neck and we're not gripping and holding there. Just let everything go. Okay, we're going to come down onto all fours now for our rhomboid push-ups. So coming down onto all fours, we're going to spread our fingers really wide. Try and get your thumbs to point to each other as much as possible, and then roll your elbow pits forward. So the inside of your elbow is going to point forwards. From here, we're going to let the shoulder blades squeeze together in our back and then press wide. Yes, we are. Shoulder blades come together and then press wide. Trying to get as much movement through your shoulders as you can. Now notice while you're doing this whether your shoulders are sneaking up to your ears. Can you think again about stabilising your shoulder blades on your back? So maybe that cue of drawing your armpits down towards your waist works for you. And we're going to continue with this because, you know, we're super strong. We're going to drop our head. So the crown of the head is down towards. So just letting your head hang, no tension through the back of the neck. And then we're going to turn our head to one side. Still keeping those shoulder blades anchored, squeeze them together, press them apart. When I say anchored, obviously they're moving. What I mean is that they're not coming up towards your ears. And then turn your head the other way. Now you can go as quickly or as slowly with this movement as you like. Once you've got it, or once you know that sensation, you can usually go a little bit more quickly, but to begin with, you certainly do want to be able to feel it. So just go at your own pace. And sometimes I go quickly, sometimes I go slow. And then just come on off your hands. Just give your hands a little shake out. Let's do our reverse prayer hands, bringing the backs of the hands together. Get your thumbs to touch and then pull your thumbs away from the rest of your fingers. Try to keep the backs of the hands together. And then just slowly lower them down. Try to get your forearms parallel to the floor. Notice if that's made your shoulders round forwards. Can you relax your shoulders down nice and open through your chest and shoulders? And then just hold here for a couple of breaths. Give them a little wiggle. We're going to go back to our rhomboid push-ups again, and we're going to just try a single arm just to see how we are with one arm at a time. So come back onto all fours again, fingers spread wide, thumbs point towards each other and elbow pits are forwards. Okay, now from here, make sure you found that kind of position where your shoulders are stable, so you don't want it to be collapsed in. And then we're going to take one hand away from the floor. I'm going to just pop it on my shoulder so you can kind of see where it is. And then you're going to just do that single arm rhomboid push-up. So shoulder blade is coming in towards my spine and then pressing out wide to the side, but it's controlled. It's not collapsing because I've taken my hand away from the floor. And if you don't feel that you're ready for that single arm yet because you're still collapsing, then just stay with both arms. Let's try the other side. Stay with both arms until you feel ready. And it might be that one side is different to the other, and that's okay. again come off your hands and just give your hands a little shake out, give your fingers a little wriggle. Okay, we're going to lie down on our front next, so have your strap nearby and grab those weights again and have your weights nearby. So we're going to lie down on our front. Now you can have your head just hovering off the mat, you can have your forehead on the mat, excuse me, and if you feel that you need like a cushion or something under your head, feel free to grab that. We want to have pubic bone anchored, tailbone slightly tucked, so your pelvis is kind of tucking a little bit to stop that compression and tightening in your lower back. Legs can be hip width apart or squeezing together, whichever feels better for you. Okay, and we're going to do our little floor angels lying this way. We're going to have palms down facing towards the floor, and then you're going to start to slowly take your arms out to the sides. I'm not touching the floor, I'm hovering just off the floor, and start to bring your arms all the way forwards to like a Superman, and then take them back out again. So we're going to do a few of those. Now notice as your arms come forwards whether you're pressing your rib cage down into the floor. Can you try and keep your rib cage connected and pulled into your body rather than arching your back to get those arms up higher? Now even just holding your arms just off the floor is adding weight, the weight of your arms obviously. So if you want to stay with this, then feel free. Otherwise you can grab your little weights again, whatever you're using, and do the same but with the weights. So again we're hovering just off the floor, and we're going to start to slowly take those arms up towards your head. Now if you find that you're then starting to arch your back or press your ribs in, then don't go all the way forwards, just take them to where you feel that you can control it. Don't lose that pubic bone connection. And then as your arms come down towards your hips this time, you're just going to pop your weights down. Push yourself up and back into your rest position, into that child's pose. Reach your arms as far forwards as you can. Let's just take a moment to reset and stretch here. And then we're going to come back down onto our front again. We're going to use the strap this time. So grab your strap. I'm going to take that strap out in front, and we're going to have it a little bit wider than your shoulders. So take it quite wide, and again you can play around with this distance. Again, pubic bone anchored, tailbone slightly tucked. That strap is resting down onto the floor. So we're going to do a little bit of back extension first. So keeping your arms down on the floor, you're going to lift your head and your neck away from the floor. Don't look forwards because that's going to crease the back of your neck. Just kind of keep your eyes down on the floor, and then lowering your head down. And then can you lift that strap and lower it down? Back extension again, lifting your head, your neck and your chest away from the floor, lowering down, lifting the arms and lower. Back extension and lower, strap and lower, back and lower. Now this time we're going to switch it a bit. We're going to lift the strap, hold the strap up, and then can you bend your elbows and straighten and lower the strap and back extension. Lower the head, lift the arms. Can you again bend those elbows, bringing that strap down, and stretch the strap forwards, lower the strap, lift the head, lower the head, lift the strap, bend the elbows like a W with the elbows, reach the strap forwards, lower the strap, lift the head. Let's do one more time. Lower the head, lift the strap, bend the elbows, straighten your elbows, lower your strap, let go of your strap, and push yourself up and back into that rest position. Reaching your arms as far forwards as you can, getting a stretch through your shoulders and your upper back. And you're ready, slowly come on up to seated. So we're going to have a look at the plank next. Coming onto all fours, fingers spread wide, thumbs pointing as much towards each other as possible and elbow pits forward. That puts your shoulders in that strong, stable position. Find that point at which your shoulder blades feel like they are in their most stable and anchored position. And then we're going to maintain that position of the shoulders as we take one leg back and tuck the toes under. Don't lose it as you take that other leg back and tuck the toes under. You're in your plank position and we're going to hold it here. Keep breathing. Eyes down on the mat, keep your length through the back of the neck and hold. Keep a check on those sneaky elbow pits, make sure they're pointing forwards and keep breathing. Can you hold? Keep breathing and hold. And when you're ready, lowering one knee and the other knee. And just come on off your hands and give them a little shake. We're going to do that again. So obviously with the plank, you are getting yourself in that really good position, that really good alignment, and then challenging your strength and your stamina to stay there. Only stay there for as long as you feel that you can hold it in good alignment. As soon as you feel like your shoulder blades are starting to collapse in, or your hips are sinking towards the mat, or you've lost something, come out of it. There's absolutely no benefit in staying there, and in fact you're just collapsing into your body, so we definitely don't want to be reinforcing those kind of movement patterns. So you just hold it for as long as you feel able to, and there's a lot of challenges. You know, sometimes you go to fitness classes and they'll do like a plank hold challenge, so it is a really good way to build your strength and stamina as long as you are in good alignment. So let's do that again. Fingers spread wide, thumbs point towards each other and elbow pits are forwards. Find that stable shoulder blade position. When you're happy, taking one leg back and the other leg back, and then hold. Now, leg position, you can either have your legs squeezing together. Some people like to have heels connected to get that midline connection. Some people like to keep them about hip width apart. Whichever works for you is absolutely fine here. Keep breathing and keep holding. And when you're ready, lowering one knee and the other knee and come on out of that. So I like these little strength exercises because they're very short and you can just kind of pop them into your day, so you don't have to commit to a whole half hour or hour workout. You know, you can, when you're in the kitchen, grab a couple of tins of beans and do a few of those little shoulder exercises. When you're watching TV at night, you can get down on the floor and have a little practice at your plank. Just finding little minutes where you can just add a little bit of movement into your day is so beneficial for your whole body. Okay, from here we're going to flip over onto our back and we're going to use our weights again. So grab your weights. And we're going to do the log pullover. Let's start with knees bent. I'm going to take our weights up towards the ceiling. And we're going to bring them together so that your palms are kind of facing in towards each other. Okay. And then we're going to keep the ribs anchored and we're going to take those arms overhead and back up towards the centre. So you're only taking your arms over as far as you can maintain that rib down position. As soon as your ribs start to lift, you're not going to go any further. Now, having your arms close together is more challenging because it doesn't give as much space for your shoulders. It's much easier to have those arms further apart. But it is good to play in different positions. So if you find that you cannot do it with the arms close together, take them that little bit further apart and play there. If you're happy in both positions, then work in both positions. Kind of do a few with the arms together and a few with the arms further apart, using your breath. You're going to inhale as arms go over and exhale to come back up. Now, what I often find with having the arms separate is that you will then notice any differences from one side to the other. So you might notice that one arm is wanting to go more quickly than the other. It feels a lot easier on one side than the other. Maybe you have more range on one side or the other, which when you have the arms kind of connected, you have your weights connected, it's not as obvious there. So that's why I like to sort of play around in different positions. Try it with your legs out long. Again, maybe doing a few with your weights held together. Inhale as arms go over and exhale to come back up. Try it with your arms a little bit further apart. Can you do 2 more there? Ooh. Noticing again those differences. And then as your arms come up this time, you can get rid of your little weights. To the side. Let's just bring knees to chest. Give your knees a little hug, so wrap your arms around your legs. Let's just rock gently side to side here. Just giving your back a little bit of a massage. We're going to go back to our plank again. So when you're ready, come on up. And we're going to add on to the plank now. So plank is a really, really good shoulder stabilising, shoulder strengthening movement. And you've got to build it up. There's lots of variations that you can do. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go from a plank on our hands, and we're going to see if we can come down onto our elbows and then go back onto our hands again. So if you don't feel ready for that, don't do it yet. Work with where you are right now. So, fingers spread wide, thumbs point towards each other, elbow pits forwards, always with our really nice setup. Take one leg back and tuck your toes under. Don't lose that shoulder stability as you take your second leg back. So you're either just going to hold here in your plank, or you're going to come down onto one elbow and onto your other elbow, so you're in an elbow plank, and then you're going to come back up, one hand, two hand, come down again, elbow, elbow, hand, hand. Now, come off your hands for a moment and just give your hands a little shake out. You will always have one side that's stronger than the other, and it's really common to always use your strongest side first and always. So you might find that you go, let me think now, so my right side is my weakest side. So when I'm going down into a plank, I'm going to always want to go right elbow down first so that my left is supporting me. And then once that right arm is down, then the left one. And then to come back up, again, I want to use my strongest one, which is my left one. So that one wants to go down, and then the right one. So it's really good to switch it around and alternate which elbows you come up and down onto. So if you have one side that is a lot weaker than the other, and you find that you're losing your alignment when you try to support your whole body with that one arm, then don't do it just on that side to begin with, because it's still going to be strengthening your shoulders and your whole body by coming down onto your arm and then coming back up again, but using your stronger side to support it to begin with until you feel ready to be able to hold all of your weight on that one side. Let's do a few more of those there. Again, making time to get your alignment, making sure that you're happy. Once you're in that position, coming down onto your elbow, onto your elbow, onto your hand, onto your hand. And again, elbow, elbow, hand, hand. Come on up. So again, you don't want to do too many of those. You don't want to be doing like 50 of those. So maybe just 2 or 3 and then come off, give your shoulders a little circle, move your neck around. And you're better to do like a few little bouts of a couple here and a couple there rather than spending ages coming up and down, because your body will just tire and you will start to just collapse in and lose that. Okay, let's have a look at our side plank. So come on to one side and let's have hands along the edge of the mat, knees along the edge of the mat. Let's do that. Okay, so we're going to press into our hand. Remember, we want that little bit of external rotation. Elbow pit's going to point forward. We're going to press into our hand, press into our knees and bring our hips through so that we're in a straight line here. And then we're going to lower it down with control. So we've done the side planks in the previous video. If you haven't done that one yet, just have a look at that one. So you might need to play around with the setup of your arm. Obviously it doesn't want to be too close to you and it doesn't want to be too far away. You'll find the position that works best for you. So that in an ideal world, when you come up into your side plank, your arm is pretty straight there, yeah? Okay, we're going to add on to this now, and we're going to see if we can go from one arm to the other arm. So we're going to roll forwards. Okay, so coming up into that side plank, let's take that top arm up towards the ceiling. Take a moment to stretch there. We're going to come onto all fours, so this top arm is going to come down towards the mat. We're going to pick up our feet and roll onto the other side. Let's transition again, bringing that hand down onto your knees and onto the other side. Keep going. So it's the transition that's the most important part. So as you come through, making sure that you're not collapsing into that shoulder, so keeping your really nice alignment, keeping those shoulder blades anchored nice and stable. Now, just come on off your hands for a moment, give your hands a little shake. So that's a kneeling side plank. You can do it in a full body side plank where you're on your feet and your arm. Let's give that a go. And again, if you're not ready for that, then save that and do that another time. Stay on your knees for a little while longer. So if you're in a full body side plank, you're going to have your top foot just in front of your bottom foot, just to give you that little bit more stability. Play around with your hand position until you're happy with where you are. And you're going to lift your hips away from the floor. Take that top arm up towards the ceiling. Again, we're going to roll forward. We're going to bring ourselves onto our toes, into your plank, onto the other side, and then reach that arm up towards the ceiling. Again, the transition is the most important thing. Don't lose your shoulder stability. Don't collapse. Keep reaching. Keep yourself lifted. You're using the muscles of your torso, your waist to support you. And again, let's go back to our first side and then lower down with control. Give your hands a little shake, give your shoulders a little shake. Turn side to side. All fours again, let's go. Find your setup again, fingers spread wide, thumbs point towards each other, elbow pits are forwards. Okay, nice and stable through the shoulders. You're going to lift one hand and you're going to pop that hand behind your head, so we're supporting ourselves on that single arm. And then we're going to twist, taking that elbow towards the ceiling and then come back. Now, notice if your bottom's sinking back towards your heels and you're trying to unweight this arm. And that's okay if you need to do that to start to build strength, but if you know that you're fine, don't allow your bottom to move back as you twist. And open out. And open out. Two more. We're going to switch sides. Okay, that stable shoulder position. And again, twist. It might be different one side to the other. You might find like you don't have very much range on one side. And then as you come down this time, you're going to come down onto your forearms. You're going to flip your hands over, palms facing up towards the ceiling. Walk your elbows forwards. And then pull your bottom back towards your heels, but you're keeping it up in the air. And let your head and your chest come down towards the mat for a stretch. Trying to get all your fingernails down on the mat, trying to get your thumbnails down on the mat. If you have a lot of tension in your hands will start to want to curl up towards each other, so you're going to try and keep them open as much as you can. And just hold for a couple of breaths. From here, we're going to go into our downward facing dog. So remember, we still need those fingers spread wide, all of the shoulder stability positions first. So fingers spread wide. Thumbs point towards each other, elbow pits forward. So find your plank first. So taking one leg back and tuck your toes under. Nice stable shoulders to take that other leg back. From here, to find your downward facing dog, you're just going to pike your bottom up in the air. Let's just pedal those feet. Just as we come into this downward facing dog the first time, let's just have a little bit of movement here. Making sure that you aren't collapsing into your shoulders. You still want nice strong shoulders. And then we're going to hold it in that downward facing dog. Let's bend both knees and straighten them a couple of times. And then straightening your legs. We're going to lift one leg. Now on the other side, can you lift and lower? So here we're trying to not lose our shoulder stability, we're trying not to arch our back, we're trying to keep our upper body as still as possible as we lift each leg in turn. And then come on down off your downward dog onto your knees and just come on off your hands. So I've put all of those exercises obviously together, but feel free to separate them out and just play with them. Feel free to kind of start to make your own workouts. So add in maybe a little bit of the mobility stuff, a little bit of stability, a little bit of strength. And that's what the next module is all about, kind of bringing it all together and doing a workout where we have little bits of everything in there. If you have any questions, feel free to let me know.